Assalamu alaikum ladies, this is Lala Nazmin from Bangladesh, one of the volunteers for Project Among His Signs. Hope all is well with you by His grace. Now, we are here to get to know the data management tool we developed over the last 1 month. But before getting to the tool, let's note that the current format that we are about to see is based on the latest update and discussion about the next phase. So in case some new proposals come in, we will change the format accordingly, but let's hope that comprehending the format now as it is will help us grasp any future changes as well, inshallah, right? Now, about the users and the interfaces of the tool. Now, this tool has been prepared for our analysis team, and that's our front-end user at this stage, and the data management team, who is the back-end users. All of these users will use the same tool, but different versions of the tool. Now, based on the latest discussion, as mentioned earlier, the analysis team is most likely to be working in several steps, with each step having very specific tasks to complete and results to achieve. For now, we are proposing that they work in 3 steps using this Excel tool itself. So for step 1 and 2, we'll be using the concise version, and for step 3, we will move on to the extended version. As for DMT, we'll deal with all versions, of course, but work specifically on the complete version. We'll get to see all of these versions gradually, inshallah. For now, let's start with the concise one for step 1. Okay, for example, if 5 sisters are working in step 1 for analysis, then each of those sisters will be assigned with, on an average, 6 juz. And if I'm one of those sisters and I'm assigned with juz 1 to 6, this is the file that I'm going to receive. Each of these tabs are representing each of the juz. So I go to juz 1 and explain this because it's the same for all the other 29 juz. Once I'm here, first I go right and check my juz range. If my juz is 4, I select 4 and see where my juz starts from and ends at. Alright, my juz is 1, so I'm just gonna see where it ends. Okay, so I need to complete up till ayah number 141 for Surah Baqarah. Alright, now this blue headed area is my work area and the yellow cells are my input cells. These are all the ayahs. These are 7 ayahs that have been selected in round 1 and round 2 cumulatively, meaning each of these ayah have either been selected in one of the rounds or both of the rounds. Now, these are not wrapped. You can just wrap all of it to read, or you can just unwrap it to keep the visual clear and deal with each of the ayah as you go. Now, you have your Islam House PDF, right? So you start reading from it and you note it. You want to add ayah number 39 to be the first ayah that you want to include. The ayah number 39 is actually there. So you read the ayah and you check if the number is right. Okay, if the translation matches with the number and the reference matches with the number, and you want to include this ayah. Okay, you include this, and as a reason for your inclusion, you select ayah contains the word sign. So as soon as you pick this reason, the adjacent cell went black, meaning that it's a not applicable cell for you now. Okay, you verified the name, the surah number and ayah number from this column, right? So you add correct, and when you add correct, this cell becomes black, because if it's incorrect, then you need to add the correct reference. Okay, so as this ayah, you probably think that this ayah is not making complete sense. To make a complete sense out of this ayah, meaning that although it has the word sign in it, but it does not explain what signs the Quran is talking about with this ayah. So you want to add ayah number 38 as well. I'm guessing probably that is the reason someone added this ayah in round 1 and round 2. But I'm not explaining how to analyze it because I'm not qualified to do that. I'm sure that you are going to have a tutorial of some sort before you get into the analysis phase, how to analyze the ayah. I'm just here to explain how to use this Excel. Now, you want to add this ayah as well. And the reason is it's the preceding ayah and it's completing the meaning of ayah number 39. Note that you need to add the ayah number only. You don't need to add the name or the number of the surah. Okay, just add 39. It should suffice. And it's correct. You've checked the reference. It's correct. It matches the number. the text matches the number. All right, now the next ayah you want to add is ayah number 43, but you do not see 43. So you go at the end of the list, you do not insert row. Okay, you do not insert row, you go at the end of the list and start from 387 number row. You add 1, juz 1, Surah Baqarah 2, ayah 43. And this is an ayah that has the word sign in it. Okay, all right. Now the referencing is correct, but somehow if you think the referencing is not correct, if you see the discrepancy, suppose you've added 2 but it came out as Al Imran, which would happen if it becomes like this, but since it's correct I cannot really show you, but this can happen. If you notice that, you add incorrect here. All right, it's incorrect. Okay, and then you add the correct referencing like this, Baqarah 243, given that it came out wrong. All right, now so here's this example. This is how you need to add it. You don't need to add the word surah, just the name of the surah would do. Okay, all right, now you include this, state your reason. Okay, but you think this ayah is not completing the meaning, I mean it's not explaining the signs. Okay, so you probably need to add ayah number 44 and 45 as well. Okay, juz 1, juz 1, surah 2, surah 2. Okay, okay, this is how it goes. Notice that this column is going to turn the cell blue when the word sign is in that cell. Okay, this ayah has sign in it, so it's blue, and the others did not, so it's white. Now you're going to include all of it, and these two ayahs are the following ayahs, following ayah that are completing the meaning for ayah number 43. Okay, and let's assume all of these turned out correct. Okay, and this is how you finish your whole juz. And after that you notice that this is someone added ayah number 40 and you do not think that it meets the criteria, so you select exclude for this. When you select exclude, selection reason goes blank, and this also goes blank, but you still need to correct the referencing. Okay, so you read the whole ayah before you exclude or include. You always need to add the whole ayah, read the whole ayah and match if it matches the number. Okay, so once you've excluded it, you still need to correct the verify the referencing. Okay, suppose it's correct, let's assume all of it is correct, and you're including all the others as well. You feel that all of that met the criteria. All right, let's keep it unwrapped for now. And then you have the reasons here as well. This contains the word sign, and this is actually the preceding ayah, and this contains sign. This is the ayah that completes the meaning for ayah 73. All right, all of that there, so it turned pretty colorful, right? Okay, so this is how it's gonna roll. You read each ayah, check the reference, include or exclude it, and you go towards your right to finish your row. And use this column commentary as you like. I mean it can be a section for your personal note, like check with admin or ask someone if you're confused about whether it should be added or not, or check the tafsir, whatever it is, you use it as you like. On our right, we have this box explaining everything I just mentioned right now more explicitly. So whenever I need to check the rules, I can always refer back to this box and see what to do, when to do, and how to do. And if this does not suffice, I can always reach out to the DMT or the admin panel to ask any questions. This sort of ends our step 1 concise version demo. Now we are going to go back to our slide. Now let's go to our concise version for step 2, and this is the file that I'll be receiving if I'm one of the sisters working in step 2. Notice that it's sort of the same. I have my blue working area for step 2 and the yellow sections are my input area, and I have these columns from step 1 for references. Notice that the ayahs that were added in step 1 at the end of the list is now in order again, because after step 1 is completed, all the files will be received by DMT and they will be doing their work, and then again preparing for step 2. So this is the file you'll get once that is done. So I can now see all the ayahs in cohesion that I need to check. If I need to add more ayahs, suppose if I'm starting with my Islam House PDF and I'm going over all the ayahs and I check the first ayah, and the first ayah I'm adding is ayah number 39. So I'm going to include it. It's my ayah that has the word sign in it. I add the reason, and then I know that I need to add the preceding ayah because it completes the meaning for the ayah number 39. But I think that it still is not completing the meaning. I think that the ayah number 37 also needs to be added to complete the meaning for ayah number 39. So again, at the end of the list, I'm going to add my new ayah. I'm going to include it, the 37 number ayah. So I include this in my section. Okay, this is the section for step 1. So I'm going to add it under my step 2 section. It's the preceding ayah and it's completing the meaning for ayah number 39. Remember, do not insert row. Just like step 1, we need to add from the end of the list. Now, for each of these ayahs, we need to check the translation accuracy. All right, that is one of the focus for step 2. I include or exclude based on set criteria, and the second focus for step 2 is checking the translation accuracy. So suppose I've read the whole ayah. For each of the ayah, I've read it and I'm going to select correct or incorrect. If it's correct, the next cell, which is the correct, which is the which is one of my input areas, and it goes blank, and I know what that means. Suppose the next ayah that is there, like this ayah, it's incorrect. I have to check for words. I have to check for punctuation, like our sister Sanjida mentioned, with an hawk's eye. So with an hawk's eye, if I see any discrepancy, I have to select incorrect and I have to add the whole ayah in its correct form from the Sahih International PDF from Islam House. Now, let's assume that this is one of the ayahs that I think should be excluded. So even if I exclude it, I have to check the translation. Just like in step 1, even though I excluded one ayah, I still verified my Quran reference. So it's the same in this case, in this step as well. I checked the translation accuracy. Now, suppose all the other ayahs I'm including. Okay, I'm including all of these ayahs, and in case of 72 and 73, I think I have to add ayah number 71 as well in order for me to complete the meaning of the ayah. So I'm going to include that. Okay, let's assume it's E, F, G, and then maybe it is U, V, W. All right, so this is the preceding ayah for 39, and this is the preceding ayah for 73. It's completing the meaning for ayah 73. So translation accuracy, it's the same like everything else. Let's unwrap it for a clear visual. Okay, now, so we've included everything. We are going to add the reasons as we did in step 1. I don't need to show that to you again. It's okay, we know what it means. Now we probably check that all of this is correct. Probably this might be incorrect, so I add that. All right, so this is how it's gonna work. It's pretty much the same. Now again, comment section, use however you like. We also have a text box in this step as well. Everything is written there for your for me to check if I get confused or if I need to refresh my memory. All right, so this ends our step 2 demo as well. Let's get back to our presentation. Okay, now I told you that in step 1, 2 and 3 we will be using the Excel file, right? And in step 3 we will move on to the extended version. Now we just finished the concise version for step 1 and step 2, and for the extended version and complete version we will be going forward to that in our coming week. although we are not going to be showing the demo for extended version, we still would like to talk about the steps ahead so that we know what to expect from the coming week. Now, in step 1, we've seen that we got the ayah in order from round 1 and round 2. We also had the surah name, number, and ayah number in place. The focus for step 1 was including and excluding ayah strictly based on the set criteria. And we also verified the Quran references, all right, that was there in the column adjacent to the ayah. So these were the two focus work area for step 1. Now in step 2, what we received was all the ayahs that was collected in step 1 strictly based on the criteria were in order. So we could read all of them and see if we still need to add more ayah or we need to exclude any ayah. And we also got the correct Quran references, given that we did a good job in step 1. All right, but the focus for step 2 was firstly to check the accuracy of the translation in comparison with the PDF from Islam House, and we gave another look at the inclusion and exclusion of the ayah. All right, so we did check the ayah inclusions strictly based on the set criteria twice, in step 1 and step 2. Now, after the step 2 is done, in step 3, what happens is we again get the ayahs in order, but this time we combine the ayah, meaning in step 2, we received all the ayahs in order, but the ayahs that needed to be compiled to complete the meaning were in different cells, like in cells right under it, right? But in step 3, what will happen is we are going to combine those ayahs in another cell, and also the references will also be combined. Like it will be like Surah Baqarah ayah 43 to 45. All right, it's gonna look like that in a single cell, and also the correct references and translation will be there. All right, from step 1 and step 2. I mean, the corrected version would be there. So the focus for step 3 now would be to check the completeness of the meaning of each ayah or each set of ayah, given that we have combined it. All right, and also we are going to look at the translation one more time. So we are including and excluding twice in 2 steps. We are checking the translation in 2 steps. All right, and we are going to be looking at the completeness of the meaning in step 3, and that ends our Excel work. All right, after that, the information we have in Excel, we will be using that information to make a Word file that will have just the ayah that met the criteria, and it will have the references only. All right, now this Word file, when it's prepared, brings us to the step 4, the final step in analysis. So in step 4, the group of sisters will be receiving a Word file. No more working on the Excel. They have the ayah, they have correct references and translation to do a final analysis. So in step 4, they will be focusing on each ayah, each set of ayah in the context of the project, and see if it's completing the meaning for its final audience. See, this is the whole of analysis phase in front of you. Okay, we will be working on steps, and each step will be have very specific tasks to do and very specific results to achieve. In step 1 and step 2, sisters will be working individually. By that I mean that they will be receiving individual files and they will be submitting their work individually, right? But in step 3 and particularly in step 4, it's going to be a very different scenario. In step 3, I told you that we will be working in an extended version of the file, and in step 3, sisters will be required, and it's actually good for all of us, that we will be communicating one to one. It's no more just filling out the cell. It's no more just selecting a drop down menu. It's going to be more than that. We'll see when the demo is live, inshallah. And step 4 is again something that is very comfortable, because sisters will be receiving just a Word file, and someone who is qualified enough to actually know if it's in context or if it's completing the meaning, that someone like that, or some sisters who do qualify to judge that, will be in step 4 analysis team, inshallah. So I think if you have any questions regarding the demo in step 1 and 2, please use the comment section to ask that questions. If you have any suggestions, please ensure that you share that suggestion with us. And I hope that step 3 and step 4 is also clear, so we sort of understand what's coming next, inshallah. So if you have any questions, please ask us. So alhamdulillah for being able to finish our project's first demo video. Jazakallahu khairan for your patience and support. So see you in the group discussions and upcoming demos on the rest of the versions, okay? Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.